listening to what I have to say, as well as those of you that are listening at home. The brief presentation that I'm going to talk about today, it's not going to hopefully not go the full 20 minutes. I am kind of an open forum. I'm more than happy to take questions as they come. My level of experience with the Sheriff's Office, I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 11 years now. I'm currently a patrol sergeant. I started out in the jail. I supervise all of our patrol deputies, as well as am on our Teller County Emergency Response Team, which is also known as SWAT, as one of their snipers. I'm their lead firearms instructor, as well as a lead instructor in several other fields of expertise. So I have grown a lot since the start of my career. So today, unfortunately, we have entered into a time frame where people take advantage. Greed and everything else seems to be one of those huge, big problems with people, where they seem to want to get more money or take more advantage, or take advantage of more people. With technology advances, that also has made it even more difficult. People can steal your identity by simply looking at your social media account, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or any of those other social media accounts. They also can spoof phone numbers. So I'm sure everybody in this room has a cell phone, a way to contact people, or even a home phone. You probably get a lot of telemarketer phone calls. I see some, no cell phone? A home phone, though? Okay. So you'll probably still receive those telemarketer phone calls of individuals saying that, hey, I need to check your computer, or I'm noticing that there's issues with your computer, or I'm with the sheriff's office and your son or daughter has just been booked into jail and you need to send X amount of dollars to bond them out. There is not a single sheriff's office on the planet that will ask for someone to pay for a bond over the phone. But these are little tactics that these people use in order to take advantage of you. I myself had been taken advantage of several years ago and ended up having over $400 charged to my account from the Philippines. Don't know how it happened, still haven't figured out how it happened. But it's always the possibility there. There's other ways or other tactics that they'll use to try and get personal information, whether it's your family, or there's an issue with the computer, or it's you've reached the Marriott Hotel. I'm sure I'm getting a lot of those lately. I'm sure all of you are as well. Your extended warranty is about to expire. Everybody's laughing about that. That's probably the most common one that we've seen. And that's one way that they'll get your personal information. They'll use your vehicle information, they can look you up, and then they can get your date of birth and your name and go from there. The common one that will start to occur right after tax season, because it's just around the corner, is IRS. I'm calling from the IRS, or I'm calling from the Social Security office. Okay, so these issues, as they come up, these people are going to call. IRS will never, ever call you over the phone. They will send you a certified letter if there's an issue with your taxes. Social Security will never call you. The sheriff's office may call you if they're legitimate, if they have questions regarding that. However, they're not going to ask you to send them money to bond someone else out of jail. Or if you have a warrant, they'll claim that you have a warrant. But if you want that warrant to go away, you have to send $2,000 or however much money. A sheriff's office will never do that. Any law enforcement agency will never do that, and any federal government agency will never do that. It's always documentation that they follow and they follow through with. Ways that you can protect yourself is, I'm sure some of you have social media accounts in here. Those social media accounts, you can actually lock those down and prevent access from people that do not or are not your friend or a follower of your social media account. You can lock that down to where you only are the capable one to select people to like, or you have to give the okay or the thumbs up to allow them onto your social media account. That will restrict that portion of it. As far as telephones, if somebody starts asking for your social security number and your date of birth on the phone, if you don't feel comfortable, don't give it to them. And tell them, you need to send me a certified letter, and if you're doing your job correctly, you should already have my address. Because a law enforcement agency, a federal government agency, is already going to have your address so they can send you a certified letter. Don't give your address out on the phone. If you are ordering things online, and this is a big shopping time of year, especially for online because of the pandemic and everything else, we need to be able to get our gifts or whatever we need to wherever they need to be. Well, unfortunately, they have figured out that if they make a spoof or a fake or false account or a fake or false website, they'll actually take your money from you. They'll already have your credit card information if you think you're buying goods from that address or from that website. So if it's not a trusted website, don't buy it from it. Unfortunately, you may have to pay $2 more for whatever you're going to buy, but use a trusted website. If it starts asking for your date of birth on a website, it's not a legitimate website. Do not use it. Okay? Amazon, things like that, they're going to ask for those type of things. That way they can monitor your search history. However, Amazon, I think at this point, is a legitimate account. Walmart is legitimate. But things like Etsy, there are some issues with Etsy that we have encountered where people have had their identity stolen off of that website. So those are just a couple ways to protect yourself, okay? The last thing would be phone numbers. When phone numbers pop up on your phone, I've actually had myself call me. I don't know how that happened. Somebody actually took my phone number, they programmed it into their spoofing machine or their software on their computer, and they were able to use my phone number to call me. And then they said it was Mary from the Marriott Hotel. Okay? It has happened. I see some finger pointing back there. It's happened. And you may get a sheriff's office number pop up. You may have our number pop up. Be mindful of who it is. If you have concerns of it, Deputy, I don't know exactly who you are. Can I call you back? Look up the sheriff's office phone number, and then you'll go through dispatch, and you'll get back in touch with them if it's a true issue. If it's not, you're obviously going to find out really quickly you won't be able to get in touch with them again. If you have experienced fraud before, we are limited with statute of limitations. 18 months is how long we're able to go with an investigation from when it is reported, okay, or when it occurred. So those statute of limitations, if somebody steals your identity or if somebody takes money out of your account, whatever it may be, from that event, we get an 18-month window to take a report. If we don't take that report within 18 months, we've lost our opportunity. If you had something happen 2 years ago, unfortunately, there's not a lot we're able to do about it. If you have financial transactions from whichever bank you bank with that aren't correct, you need to immediately contact your bank and dispute those charges. In the event that you guys end up actually having those refunded from your bank is now the victim. You are no longer the victim. However, you can still be a victim for identity theft if there's a potential for that crime to exist at that time. Does that kind of make sense to everybody? I know I'm kind of going fast through it, but it's a scary thing, and technology has certainly taken advantage of it. Sir? I'm sorry, repeat the question? Mm-hmm. Well, it depends. And if we've got a scammer that's overseas, unfortunately, nothing's going to happen to them. My jurisdiction doesn't reach that far. Neither does the state's jurisdiction or even the federal government's jurisdiction for a scam like that. If it's local jurisdiction, so if we have a scammer that's in Teller County, the maximum penalty, it could range anywhere from a simple identity theft, which I believe is a Class 6 felony, can carry up to 3 years imprisonment, or we can go as far as if they steal thousands upon thousands upon thousands, $20,000 to $25,000. That actually goes up to a Class 4 felony, and it's about 10 years imprisonment. If it's a federal issue, let's say that it's out of state, and they claim that they're the IRS. Well, that's impersonating a peace officer or a federal government official. That is a Class 2 felony, state charge. As far as a federal imprisonment, you're looking at anywhere in between 15 to 20 years imprisonment. So it's hefty, hefty penalties. Now, if somebody takes $25 out of your account, the identity theft charge is actually higher than the theft charge. The theft charge is a Class 2 petty offense for $25 stolen out of your account, so that's a simple ticket. However, the identity theft is a Class 5 felony. That's also known as criminal impersonation. Sir? Mm-hmm. So people are posing as the Marriott Hotel, and they are saying that you've won or you've been entered to win a stay at one of their prestigious hotels or one of their resorts. That's how they start to get your personal identification or your date of birth and your name. So they'll ask, okay, so you've been entered in, but we still need to fill out the rest of the form to make sure that you win this. And they'll get your date of birth, they'll get your name, they'll get your address, and then they run with it. They open a credit card with your name, your address, your date of birth. They take your credit history, because that's all it takes to fill that out anymore. And then you'll start seeing credit card bills come through the mail that aren't yours. So does that make sense? It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. People take advantage more and more every day. Yes, ma'am. I'll get to you, sir. It's pretty ridiculous. I actually, every time I get a phone call now that I don't recognize, if they don't leave a number or a message, I block the number. And that's just my standard practice. It gets exhausting after a while, but it is one of those things. Unfortunately, there's nothing we're able to do about that. Now, the extended warranty, we're not getting as many phone calls on that anymore. And I know the general public isn't receiving as many phone calls about their extended warranty, but it's still happening. I think people are starting to figure out that that's a scam. You, and then I'll get to you, ma'am.
Yeah, I got an email this week saying that my Norton 360 internet suite has been renewed, and your account charges $350. I don't have Norton 360, so I guess that's a catch because they have a phone number that you could call.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of calling the number, I looked up the Norton phone number.
Mm-hmm.
Back. But that's what they were doing, is waiting for you to call that number and then try to elicit some information. So if you see that,
Yeah, that's another way that they do it. Thank you for bringing that up, is emails, scam emails or spam. They've figured out ways, if they use keywords of larger companies in the title, it won't go to a spam folder. It'll end up popping up on your regular folder. So, yes, ma'am.
How do you successfully block phone numbers?
Well, depends on what kind of phone you have, because everybody can't be the same.
I've tried and it doesn't seem to work.
Okay, all right. Remind me when we are all done here, and I'll go through. I'll show you how to do it on your phone. Of course. Yes, ma'am.
I keep the sheriff's telephone number by my phone and the Teller County Police Department number by my phone. When somebody asks me for my telephone number, I give them your number.
Thank you. I can't remember how many times I have gotten in touch with somebody who's from the IRS, and they said that the local sheriff's office was going to come and arrest me. I said, oh, really? Well, tell you what, you go ahead and come meet me at 11400 US Highway 24 in Divide, Colorado. That's where I live, and it's also known as the Teller County Sheriff's Office. Click. They don't usually call back, but that does happen still. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you guys for your time. Thank you for the invite, and I appreciate your time.